All right, thank you so much for staying with us. Now, today is World Blood Donor Day, and the theme for this year is Give Blood, Give Hope. Now, it is expected to highlight the emotional and life-sustaining power of blood donations, showing how a single act of generosity can give someone another chance at life. Now, we're privileged to be joined this morning by the Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Committee, who is also a renowned consultant hematologist with over 14 years of expertise in the field. Dr. Bodrin Oshikumaya joins us this morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me today.
The theme is Give Blood, Give Hope.
Together we save lives. If we start out.
Together we save lives. Now, the conversation this morning is about the benefits of why should anyone give blood? Why must I give blood? Why must the average Nigerian who thinks that they are too hungry, they are too poor, give blood?
So the first thing about blood is that it's not manufactured anywhere. It's only produced in a human body. So if you do not donate blood, and if I do not donate blood, then people that need the blood cannot have the blood. So that is the first thing we need to realize. And we also need to understand that the benefits of blood donation is actually much more for the donor than even the person that receives the blood.
I don't believe that. I'm the one giving it. It's coming out of my body. I'm losing blood.
You're not losing blood. You're actually giving out the extra that you have. So before you can donate blood, you must have enough for yourself. And the only thing we collect is the extra that your body does not basically need.
How do I know that I have enough?
So we're definitely going to check. So though you asked about the benefits, I'll go back to the benefits, but how do you know you have enough? As I say, plenty blood, no issue for face. Though when you are pale, we know, but to know the quality, the quantitative, the level exactly does not show on just mere looking at you. We have to ask a lot of questions, and then we will do a blood check. So when we do that blood check, we know the exact amount of blood you have, and we could use something called a hemoglobinometer, which will take about 5 seconds to get the result. Or in other places, might decide to take some blood sample to use a machine to analyze the amount of blood. So without the blood check, please do not donate blood, because you don't really know if you have enough for yourself and enough to give another person. So back to the benefits of donating blood. The first benefit I always tell anybody that for yourself, it makes you healthier, because you give out blood and your bone marrow has an opportunity to produce more blood cells. I know the younger ones are more active. You can't compare yourself to myself. You know, if you decide to run a race together,
let's try that race first.
You know, I will definitely.
Let's try that race first.
So you know, the younger cells are much more active. They're able to carry out the routine functions of blood, like carry oxygen around the body to where it is needed, like take away waste matter to where it has to be excreted. The blood also has other things like proteins and hormones that helps us to grow right, and also cells that help us to fight infections. So the younger, newer cells produced by the bone marrow is much more active and definitely makes us much healthier. And then the next thing is that before you do have a blood donation, we would have had like a mini health check. You know, if you are donating blood 3 times, then you have a routine health check 3 times for that year. You don't have to be ill to have a health check, and that is why I call blood donation a form of preventive health, because if you come to donate blood, it helps to uncover any health problems, and if there is no health problems, it helps you to strengthen already existing health conditions that you already carry out. So if you are living right and you know that you are fine, you want to live right more, so that next time you come, you are able to donate blood. So you have a health check, you have about 40 questions that you have to answer, and the first time is usually the most.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because
But
even
really,
right now, I'm thinking about...
No, really, every question leads to another, so it's like it flows. And because you are interested in knowing what is happening to you, you are willing to answer those questions. After you answer all those questions and you are eligible to donate blood from those questions, we go to the next stage, which is to check your blood levels, to check your body for your routine clinical features like the blood pressure, like the pulse rate, the temperature. We even go on to check your weight. And we know we cannot collect blood from people that are very, they have a low weight. The cutoff is 50 kilograms. So we'll check your weight if you are eligible. And then finally, we will check your blood level. So until you pass those 3 stages, we won't collect blood from you. We do not want a situation where we would collect from you and then there will be issues. So that is the second benefit. The third benefit is that blood donation helps to keep your iron levels stable. So people really do not know what is iron levels, because iron is actually what is in the blood cells. And studies have shown that people that have that stable iron levels have a lower incidence of cancers and also have a lower incidence of cardiac diseases and strokes. And with the way people slump now, I'd rather be a routine regular blood donor than for me to keep the blood to myself and then I fall ill. So you see, it's a form of preventive health. If donating blood regularly will prevent or will give me less risks of having cancers and less risks of having cardiac diseases and stroke. You can see that blood donation is actually much more than an act, but a preventive health activity.
Now, from your experience, what are the challenges that people have, that you have had in the process? What are the things that you have heard from people that prevent them from donating blood?
So the first is ignorance. I think that is a major word, that people are quite ignorant of the acts, the benefits, the reasons, and those that need blood. And it all boils down to the fact that there isn't adequate sensitization. And no matter how much we do, we need to go all out to tell it all about blood donation. So we are not doing enough with that. If we're doing it every day, then the myths and cultural false beliefs that people have could be dealt with. So one of the things I've heard is, the first thing is, I don't have blood. And I'm sure that if I ask you that, donate blood now, I said, do I have blood? I don't have blood. You know, it's like, it's impromptu. It just comes up. You don't need to think about it. It's like, that is the normal language. Like I say good morning when you see somebody in the morning. That is what happens to most people in Nigeria and many low to medium income countries. Donate blood. I don't have blood. But really, you never can say if you have enough blood until we check. Another thing is, if you donate blood, it could be used for fetish things. But I'm happy that it's not as common as before. People are becoming more enlightened. I've heard that blood is related to infertility. Oh, this is one that really scares a lot of men. Men really want to be fertile, and there really is no relationship between blood donation and infertility. Really, it's a whole different ball game. We've also had that blood donation takes a lot of time, and yeah, it could be a myth, it could be wrong, it could be right. As voluntary blood donors, because you have to answer those questions. If you're answering it for the first time, it might take you a while for the first time. But actually, the time between the time the needle gets into your skin and when the blood bag fills up, it's usually about 5 to 7 minutes. And really, that isn't so much time to save a life, to save 3 lives, and as well to save a nation, you know. And so it really does not take that much time. Another one that also is very common is, when I donate blood, I can't go to work. Please, you can't go to work when you donate blood. Really? Just to tell you that I shouldn't do any strenuous then. So if you work in the factory, for example, we'll advise that you should probably take the day off, or you should do your job before coming. Okay. Yeah, and things like that. So there are many things we hear out there. Okay.
Now, there's one that perhaps would be of concern. Someone is at work, not doing strenuous work, and has a 1-hour break at the office. Yeah. And the person will say, okay, I can do this between 12 and 1. However, so where do I donate blood?
Yeah, that really is, used to be an issue, but I think it's getting better. So all the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service, or committee rather, has 3 voluntary blood donation centers. So you can come to our headquarters at Bagada General Hospital, where everybody is right now. You can go to the voluntary donation center at General Hospital, Lagos. You can go to the one at Lagos State Accident and Emergency. You can also go to every state public facility, that's the secondary public facilities, all the general hospitals, they all have blood donation centers. And finally, you can also go to LASU, that's Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. That is with respect to the public facilities. For the private facilities, some people don't want to go to the public facilities. We do understand. So there are quite a number of private facilities that you can also donate blood. Just make sure you ask if they have the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Committee logo. That is the sign that it has been accredited and licensed to collect blood. It also means that we've trained the people in this facility. We've ensured that they have the appropriate equipment to collect blood. So you could go to either the public or the private to give blood. What is most important, that you save a life and you give hope to some people.
Let me ask you, because some people are wondering right now, are you on Instagram or something, or any of these social media platforms? Just so that people can get all of this information. I'm pretty sure that someone is probably driving now at a party or going to a party and watching you right now, so there's no way to put it. Is there a way to contact, you know, your organization to say, okay, we would like to donate?
Yeah, we are on all, most of them. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Instagram, we are on X, and we're on Facebook. So just type Lagos State Blood Transfusion. You will see it as Lagos State Blood Transfusions or Lagos Blood, or you will see it as Give Blood. So we have that's all related to, yeah. So just look out for the Lagos State logo too. That's mapped as in the logo of Lagos State. It is actually there. That is how you can distinguish it from any other handle that is related to blood.
Now, you raised another issue that people have to look out for that logo. Yeah. That could be something that have scared some people over time. What happens when I donate blood? What are the, because I've heard some things, you know, working with your team from time to time, I've heard some things that are mind-blowing, that my blood has different parts and all of those things. Just blood, for God's sake.
Blood is not just blood. Please tell everybody that blood is not just blood. The blood has various components. The very common ones are the cells and then the liquid.
Okay, yes. I know about red blood cells and white blood cells.
That shows you we did biology.
Yes, I did biology in Form 3.
And you still remember some of it. So really, blood has 2 basic components. We have the cells, and then we have the fluid. So the cells look like red, and that is why people call it red blood. But within those red cells, we have something called the white cells too, and then we have something called the platelets. And every of those cells are really important. They help to keep people alive. And then the fluid part, which is like yellowish or straw-colored, is what we call the plasma. So when you donate blood, I'm sure you've heard of that saying, that slogan that says, a unit of blood saves 3 lives.
Yes.
Yes. So that unit of when you donate blood as a blood bag, we separate it using something called a centrifuge. So it moves very fast so that the blood can settle at different specific gravities, or at different weights. Yes. So the red cells are separated away from the blood, and then the platelets, which are like white dots, tiny white particles, are separated too, and then the plasma, which is yellowish, is also separated. So when people need blood, when people bleed, these parts of the blood are used for different things. But really, that is the list there. The most important thing is for you to know what happens when you donate blood. So when you get to the donation center, we don't just collect the blood. I have mentioned that we will ask you questions, we will do some physical checks, and then we'll check your blood. And then thereafter, well, you have a counseling session. During that counseling session, we'll we'll ask if you've had any food to eat, if you've been well hydrated, if you've taken alcohol just before coming, if you've had some cigarette smoking. You know, some of these things could affect you when donating blood. And then we will also counsel you about the test that will be done to the blood. We'll also counsel you about what the blood will be used for, that the blood is not going to be kept in the blood bank, but it will be used to save lives. that other things can be done to the blood. It's after the counseling. You will sign a consent. You must sign a consent before we collect blood from you. We have to agree that you want to donate the blood, and nobody's forcing you, because we don't want you to be forced before you donate blood. So it's after all those things that we get to the stage of those different things you just talked about.
Okay. How frequently can anyone donate blood?
You could donate blood every 3 to 4 months. That is like 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay. So that's about 12 to 16 weeks every...
Yes, that's about 12 to 16 weeks, yeah.
Okay. Suppose, I mean, because the descriptions that you have heard, that you've just made now, there are 20 million people in Lagos, and the places where people can donate blood, they are so far apart and all those things. What if another organization or a group of organizations decide, maybe we should have this, situation where we invite your body or something to say, come, we have about 100 of us or 200 of us that want to donate blood, and they set a day for it. Is that possible?
Yes, that's possible. You will be surprised that about 70% of the blood collected at the Lagos Blood Transfusion Committee is taken outside the facilities. So we have the capacity to go to your companies, your organizations, your birthday parties, anything you want. As long as you invite us, we have the capacity to go there to collect blood. And usually, before we collect the blood, we would have had like an advocacy talk. It might be a physical one, it might be a virtual one, just to intimate you about the process itself. Really, what you do not know gets you scared. So we try to make it light, and we sometimes show videos of people that have already donated blood. We use that as an opportunity to take people that are regular donors from different non-governmental organizations or humanitarian organizations like Red Cross, the Nigerian Red Cross, for them to see people that have donated before. So really, as I said, about 70% of the blood collected at the Lagos Blood Transfusion Committee is not collected within those centers I mentioned. It's usually better for us. We don't want you to lose time at work. We don't want you to spend your money on transportation fare. We want to make it easy for you. So we're always available to come to collect the blood.
Now, there's something that I've also heard, that there's a percentage of every population that is supposed to be able to donate blood.
Yeah.
So what are you able to meet that quota?
No, we are not able to meet that quota.
What's the challenge here?
So the challenge basically is we don't have that culture of donating blood. Really, we don't have, like, if I ask you that, when last did you donate blood?
You have to first of all ask me if I know what it means.
People do know. I think we have done a little bit more on encouraging and telling people about blood donation, because we have gone ahead not to just talk to adults alone. We've been talking to people in secondary schools, trying to change that mindset before they become adults and eligible to donate blood. So more is being done, but really we don't have that culture of donating blood. And if you don't have that culture, and if you have you have that mindset that you cannot donate blood even without checking, it becomes a little bit difficult. We have to continue and repeat that sensitization and advocacy over and over again. Just by the side, and by the way, right now we thought that one of the strategies of celebrating this year's World Blood Donors Day is not just thanking to donors, but by opening up our facilities for people that still do not understand the reality of blood donation as well as blood transfusion, for them to come and see how the blood is collected and processed, for them to talk to people that have been donating blood, and for them to interact with people that need that blood. So the best way to change that cultural mindset is for them to experience it, and that is one of the strategies. So really, if we do not experience the need, then sometimes that culture cannot be broken.
Okay, now what are some of the challenges your organization also has in the process of getting this done?
Well, it's just for inadequate sensitization and awareness, really.
Okay.
Yes, that's the basic thing, and that's the basic thing.
Someone is writing, this is Daniel from Jos, says, and I quote, sent us a mail, I took a donor to donate blood for my daughter yesterday in a federal government hospital, but I still paid them, that's the hospital, 19,000 naira.
Well, I do not know about the federal
Of course
government.
you don't know, but...
But really, in Lagos State, which I can speak confidently for, if you go to the state hospitals in Lagos State, you do not pay to donate blood because it is free. The government will process the blood, and usually it's the recipient that still pays out of pocket for the test done on the blood. So usually when money is paid for blood in this part of the world, it is not paid because you are for buying the blood. You are paying the money to test the blood for infectious diseases like HIV 1 and 2, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and syphilis. You're paying for the consumables, which are all imported, that is used to collect the blood. For example, I do not know anywhere in Nigeria where blood bags are produced. I'm still looking for it, and I'm encouraging manufacturers to get their equipment together to try to produce some of these consumables indigenously. You also pay for the compatibility test. Donating blood does not mean it is compatible to the person that is going to be transfused. And that is why people have blood reactions. So we need to test the blood, which takes between 45 minutes and 1 hour, to be sure that whosoever is going to receive the blood is able to have the blood without any form of issues. And that is what a compatibility or a cross-match means. Apart from that, blood must be kept in cold chain. And it means that we have to buy the equipment, that's the blood bank refrigerators, the cold transport bags, the ice packs. And so what you pay for is what is used to test these infectious agents for the cross-match, as well as keeping the blood in the right medium to keep it safe.
So to be clear, what you're saying is that does that even also happen in Lagos, where people donate blood, or where people go to the hospital to be blood infused or transfused with blood, but then they still have to pay?
Well, if you are going to be transfused with blood, you need to pay for the tests.
Okay.
That is what we do for now. Though we have some people that do not need to pay for the test. So Mr. Governor magnanimously has been paying for blood for people that have sickle cell disease, for people that have been involved in accidents, for people that have been involved in disasters and things like that. So if you go to the accident and emergency, for example, you don't pay for the blood use. If you have sickle cell disorder, you come to any of the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service Centers, you do not pay for those tests. The government pays for it, but usually on the condition that the blood must be available. So with all the policies, with all the funding for this particular policy too, if there is no blood, then we cannot implement it. And that's why we try to tell organizations that, for example, what Sickle Cell Day is coming, we tell them, yes, we are celebrating this Sickle Cell Day, but we need blood to keep them alive. Try to encourage people to give, because once it's available, then people living with sickle cell disorder don't need to pay out of pocket when they need the blood. So even though a majority of people still need to pay for the tests for this blood, we also have a percentage of people that don't need to pay out of pockets when they need this blood.
Now, a good number of things that you have said now. You know, one of the questions that just came to mind is how about social groups? I don't know what we call them now. The Rotary clubs, the Lion clubs.
Oh God, they are awesome. In short, groups like Rotary Club, Lions Club, and many others, they've been awesome. Even within Rotary clubs, they compete amongst themselves. Oh, please, we are going to save more lives in this particular chapter than this. Amongst Red Cross, humanitarian organizations too, they try to encourage some form of competition whereby we give awards. They give awards to themselves per catchment area, just to encourage regular blood donation. We have a lot of them. We have some of these groups that also encourage their members to use blood donation as a form of celebration for their birthdays, for their anniversaries. So really, they've been awesome. And as I said before, like 7% of blood is collected from external drives, and these are the people that organize these drives for us. They work with all, they also work, they're like a third party between the bigger corporate organizations and ourselves.
Okay, so if you would be making one appeal now to the person watching you and listening, particularly today, World Blood Donors Day, what would be your appeal to them?
I want to appeal to you to be the reason to make a family smile. I want to appeal to them to spend some time to go to the hospital wards and see how people are hopeless because they cannot have either the blood group that they want or they don't have their full amount of blood as in the numbers of units that they want. They need to see family members cry and be sad. That sometimes it's not about even having the money to care, but that blood that cannot be manufactured from anybody is not available. So donate blood and give hope and make somebody smile.
Thank you so much for your time this morning. Dr. Bodri Shikumaya is Executive Secretary of the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Committee and a consultant hematologist. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Well, it is not a laughing matter, that much I can tell you, but that's what's likely to happen when we close out with the next segment. Stay with us.